Hi everyone, it's Jenny here from The Bear and the Fox. I'm back today with another roundup of book recommendations, and to celebrate my absolute favourite time of the year, I have picked some of our autumn favourites to share with you. Now these are in no particular order, but I have to start with a quick shout out for Autumn Story from the Brambly Hedge series. Now I have yet to come across any books that capture the 4 seasons as perfectly as the Brambly Hedge series. So here it's just screaming autumn at you from the cover, all the colourful leaves and the brambles, and I just wanted to share one of my favourite illustrations with you. This one here, where you can see all the stuff that they've been foraging for the winter. So you've got the rose hips and the brambles, the mushrooms and the crab apples, and it's just so autumnal. I absolutely love it, and it just reminds me of all the foraging that we've been doing recently and the canning and preserving that we've been up to in the past couple of weeks. So that's Autumn Story. Now the next book is not particularly about autumn, but it has such an autumnal feel to it in the illustrations that we like reading it this time of the year, and it's called Twig, and it's about a stick insect called Heidi who has started at bug school, and she's trying really hard to make new friends, but it's really difficult because nobody can find her. So here is poor Heidi, who just blends in so well because she looks like a twig. So she's trying to make friends, but nobody can see her. Here's poor Heidi, looking very, very sad. You'll be happy to hear that it does have a happy ending. Oh, here's Heidi who's finally made some friends. Again, lots of colourful autumn leaves and a nice cosy scarf. So even though the story itself isn't about autumn, it's very autumnal illustrations, and we just love reading this at this time of the year. Then we have Storm. Again, this is from a series of books. There's one about sunshine and one about snow, and this one, Storm, really again reminds us of autumn, and you can see straight away from the cover all the colourful autumn leaves blowing about. Here's the wee boy and his grandfather who are going out. They're being blown away by all the autumn leaves. The story is actually about the boy and his grandfather who want to go and fly some kites in the autumn weather. It's quite a simple story, but it's really sweet, and the illustrations are super autumny. So Storm is a good one, and we see plenty of autumn storms here in Scotland. Speaking of autumn leaves, here is another book. It's called Sweep. And again, it's got lots of autumn leaves on the cover. Again, the story in this isn't particularly about autumn, but it's set in autumn. It's about Ed and his bad mood. He's got a bad mood, and he's kind of sweeping through town with his bad mood. And as his bad mood grows, so does the pile of leaves that Ed is sweeping up. So there he is, busy sweeping up all the autumn leaves. It's just a bit futile at this time of year. It gets worse. There's more and more leaves, but it's a great book actually for talking with children about feelings and emotions, but it's also again very autumnal with the illustrations and the big piles of leaves. So it's good at any time of year as a book to talk with kids about how they're feeling, but particularly in autumn because of all the autumn leaves that appear in the story. And next we have another book about leaves. It is a recurring theme in autumn leaves. So this one features a super cute little squirrel, and I saw this cover and I just had to get it because he's so super cute. So this squirrel thinks that someone's stealing his leaves. So he says, one of my leaves is missing. It looks a lot like the one that Mouse has got. And his friend Bird tries to explain to him that, you know, no, Mouse hasn't stolen your leaves. This always happens at this time of the year. But he keeps saying, oh Bird, Bird, it's really bad, it's really bad. People keep stealing my leaves. Look how cute it is. And Bird's getting a bit frustrated. This is one of my favourite scenes in the book. There's all the autumn leaves are blowing around everywhere. It's so strong. The animals are blowing around, the squirrels blowing around. He's still not quite convinced. He's still saying, where's the leaf thief? and the leaf thief is the wind. It's the autumn wind. The only thief is the wind. This happens every year in autumn. And there's actually a little bit at the end that just tells you a bit about the leaves falling in autumn, and also what squirrels do in autumn, that they don't actually hibernate but they store their food and they sleep a lot more. So just a nice little bit of factual information at the end, but most of all, squirrel and lots of lovely autumn leaves. Really love the illustrations in this. So if this doesn't make you feel like autumn, then I don't know what will. Next we have another book that is new to us this year, Woody, Hazel and Little Pip. Now this was actually originally published in the 1930s in Swedish and then was translated into English. So this English edition was published last year. I think there's an earlier edition as well, and I just absolutely love this. So Woody and Little Pip are the children of Mrs. Acorn, and you can see they've got a little acorn hat. And then there's Hazel, Mrs. Hazelnut's child, who's got a little hazel cap. And then they also like meet the chestnut children. They've got this, it's so cute. I absolutely love it. So Woody and Little Pip get blown away by the autumn wind. Mrs. Hazelnut comes to visit with Hazel, and then Squirrel offers to go out and look for Woody and Little Pip, and kind of Hazel hitches a ride without anyone knowing. So then all three children are out there, and Squirrel does eventually find them, and all's well that ends well in the end. This is one of my favourite illustrations, the party at the end. You can see all the woodland people with their little hats. There's also these rose hip fairies that have got their little rose hip hat, and then the squirrels and some gnomes. Oh, and one with a pine cone on their head. I mean, the illustrations of this are absolutely wonderful, and the story is really sweet as well. And again, this is one that will absolutely give you all the autumn feels. And then last but not least, this is a favourite of ours from last year, Ollies Lost Kitten. Now it's giving us a bit of Halloween vibes as well as autumn vibes, although it's not actually a Halloween story. So Ollie is who's dressed up as a kitten, and Ollie's kitten who gets lost, and then Ollie looks for the kitten. But it's really beautiful. Most of it is in black and white and grey, and then you've just got the autumn leaves that are in colour and really stand out. And then you've got some fun bits, like, so here it's looking out the window, and then outside that window has just turned into a tree. And then I don't know if you can see this in the light, some of the colourful leaves are shiny. So it's just a little sweet story about Ollie looking for the lost kitten. And then there are little bits, hints of Halloween at the end. You know, there's some bats flying around, and then you can see a little, can you see it there? A little witch flying past the window. So there's some hints of Halloween, but it's not a Halloween story as such. So there's also Ollie and the kitten, and a kitten pumpkin at the end. So if you're looking for an autumn book, especially for younger kids, because it's quite a short story, but the illustrations are absolutely beautiful. I mean, I say younger kids, my boys are 6 and 10, and they still love it because it's such a beautiful book, and so do I. And that's it for today. Those are our favourite books right now to welcome autumn. I hope you enjoyed our recommendations too. You can find a list of all the book titles and authors over on my blog, and I will pop a link to that in the notes below. If you enjoyed this episode, then please do like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. Happy reading. Bye.